sometimes to fight back in the midst of hardship or challenges or abuse or bullying or negative circumstances, anything that is difficult. A tactic sometimes is to just be your most authentic self, and that can look like, especially as Ọbàtálá's child, as Omo Ọbàtálá, that can look like taking the stance of peace, taking the stance of calm, and not reacting, responding, and there's nothing wrong with righteous rage, and that can also be a transmutation of our righteous rage. So if you're going through something or witnessing or experiencing something that is unjust or unfair, and then you are angry about it, sometimes the transmutation and response is actually to not react, or to not express your anger and frustrations to whoever is making you feel that way or whatever circumstance. Like, this isn't always the case. This is particular, if that makes sense. Sometimes the approach that I have been learning as child of Ọbàtálá is quite a Buddha philosophy, one where I am the lotus, I am not moved, I am still myself, I'm still growing, I'm still shining, I'm still present, I'm still seen, and that's actually what is shielding me, and I don't have to do anything. Sometimes we have to do something, we have to fight back with protection outwardly in the physical, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes, and I'm not saying I'm not doing that Bible verse vibe of when someone slaps you on the cheeks, give them the other side, or whatever that scripture is. That's not what I mean. Definitely take it to the altar and talk to your ancestors about things, and let the divine source, Nyame or Oromankumad or Ludumare, handle things for you. But your action sometimes, or our action sometimes, is just to take the most peaceful approach, so that people can receive their karmic lessons. And as I keep repeating, as I have learned, karma is not punishment, it is a lesson. It is cause and effect, really. And that can also be helpful for forgiveness when you feel like you've been mistreated, and you're still moving through the emotions behind it, because forgiveness isn't just like a one-time thing where you're going to be like, oh, I've forgiven, I'm over it. It'll simmer back up, things will simmer back up, and you can feel the same emotions that you felt before, or just different layers to it. So for me, not getting pissed off, if you're Omo Ọbàtálá, usually the Orisha over your head is not really particularly who you might want to be over your head. It is who you need. And I remember when I first got my reading done and was told, I didn't actually know much about Ọbàtálá. I knew a lot more about Oshun, because there's so many Oshun babies out there, as Oshun is very fertile. And I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to be Omo Oshun, whatever. But Olodumare knows exactly who is supposed to be head over your destiny. And I'm so grateful to have Ọbàtálá as the keeper of my Ori. I have definitely struggled with a temper in my life, and it's not even like that temper or that anger wasn't justified, but because of how I'm wired, the best approach to things sometimes is not to project that pissed offness. It's actually even when others are trying to provoke you, it's actually for me, as Omo Ọbàtálá, it's to just continue to be at peace, and to continue to cleanse myself, continue to put my feelings and energy into my creativity, because Ọbàtálá was the maker of bodies, and a very creative entity, being, person when they were alive. Yes, and they were, Ọbàtálá is also Orisha of coolness, right? And so I'm always encouraged to cleanse myself with water, to cool my head, to pray over my Ori coolness. And I can now literally feel when my head is hot, like I'll feel heat on my head literally. Or I'll become inflamed, or I'll get feel sweaty. It's interesting how your body will literally be that physical response to the spiritual, and that's why I always say that the spiritual and the physical are not separate. They're actually moving and dancing together all the time. So if you separate them in your mind, a lot of the time there can be quite a disconnect, but that's what the Western world teaches us. But for me, the physical and the spiritual go hand in hand. So that includes science, that includes nature, and how it responds to the unseen. Because the things that we do in African spirituality or Indigenous tradition are linked to science heavily, and that's why our ancestors knew things about nature and the weather and what was going to come and how to operate things that the Western world is still seeming to struggle with and doesn't know how to listen to. So yeah, I definitely challenge you, as I always continue to challenge myself, is to respond or listen to nature, your body, and think about how that is in connection to the spiritual, the unseen forces of nature, your spiritual energy, your divine ancestors, the creator, God, Odumankumalo, Odumare, whatever you call them. For me, you can watch me and not have the same beliefs as me exactly, but if you believe in source, if you believe in the divine, if you believe in God, the creator, then there's always something that you can take away from what I share.